However, I did channeled writing yesterday, so I'm going to read that out to you. Enigmatic, static, cymatic, cinematic, gigantic. Sound from those pounds of profound neodymium magnets crystallised prize its to uprise in a ringing wavelength. Field theory is one of teary, fiery, fiery, blaze out, this haze out for a gaze of frequency roars from the people in the shapes, not the time mark or the make. This is all fake. Fake as a remake of a cake for fold of Gaia art is all states of matter fluidity to ride as we become one. Some truth out the roof, poof, soaking up that spoof, rolling out layers of plasmic fluorescent mist, its bones kiss to lift bliss. Through snakes rattles the haggled drop, stop, for frequency flows in all rows of toes. Crystalline structure, fire, desire, blasts higher, lighter, brighter, fighter, flighter, combustion of states of plasma, from winds, flames to water to stone. All is home when Gaia's throne is known and shown within stone. Boom. So yeah, that was channeled yesterday. I think it was a vision I got. Some of it disappeared as I was trying to write it down. I was basically getting a vision. I'm going to go through it now. I want to talk about iron quickly, actually, more than anything right now. So I was talking to Mr. D on Instagram again, and we were saying, he was bringing up iron, and we were talking about St. Patrick's Day basically, and I didn't even realise it was today, so I'm going to talk about it because Guinness is heavily linked to iron. So if you think of, like, I saw someone put a post up yesterday saying all the Irish pubs are shut, blah blah blah, oh it must be bad, and then I was like, yeah, well, all the old wife tales and that say that Guinness, if you were pregnant and you wanted to drink alcohol, you drink Guinness because it's full of iron. Now, I've been going on about iron for ages because Catholic priests use iron to ward off evil spirits. And St. Patrick's Day, like, St. Patrick wasn't even Irish. He was not even Irish. And I worked in hospitality for a long time, so I see what people consume, the amount they're consuming, because iron is magnetic. Gaia's field has iron in it, it's magnetic. And I think iron is like a... it's like what they put fire in, yeah? So they use fireplaces with iron as well, because fire doesn't burn iron, so it's like a really hard state of water, because everything's a different alchemized state of water. So when fire, which is a lower state of plasma, burns on iron, it doesn't, you know, that's why they have it there. So it's stopping the crystalline process, which would be plasma, from evolving, because I stopped taking iron in my diet. I was talking to Gary the other day, he said, Rosie, why don't you have Weetabix? Why do you have this? And I said, because it's high in iron, because our coat of arms, yeah, which is linked with our queen and all that, is on all our passports and things like that, is always next to iron on certain food packaging that, like they're showing it off for something. Do you see what I'm saying? So they're like, oh, iron this, blah, blah, blah. And I started noticing the patterns of it. Now, when I stopped having it in my diet, when my blood is trying to heal itself from the iron, because if you put iron nails in a tree, it kills the tree sap. It kills the tree sap. So we've got it in our blood, then you can connect to it, you know what I mean? Because they have it round all railings of schools, of parks, of all the megastructures on the ley lines and things like that, has high in iron, which is also linked to the fleur de lis, which we've been talking about, you know, with going into plastic surgery, going into imprinting slaves within the subconscious, where how all the Knights Hospitallers and all the Knights of Templar use it. It's on all their hats. So if you're experiencing a state of trauma, then it's interlocking it with the fleur-de-lis when you're looking at someone, because it's imprinted within the subconscious. So when you'll see the fleur-de-lis, it's imprinted with all the subconscious prints over and over and over again. And the person who did it was a doctor, so it could, yes, be linked with Jack Rip as well. We were talking about this, me and Mr. D, and yeah, I think our consumption of it, like where it's running through Gaia, so I'm giving this to you now, saying this to you now, so you can start to, you know, look at where, I'm just looking at the Joker card now, Witch's Island. Look, this is come out of my book that I was writing in, but this Joker card's been popping up left, right and centre at the moment. It made me laugh. So yeah, we need to look at where it is, because there's things in the Natural History Museum linking with iron, with like lumps of coral. Lumps of coral. Yeah, which are basically like this big, have thin layer of iron in this, and they're not sure, and it's linked with the pole shift. We know they say there's iron in the core of the earth, don't they? But you know, what is down there? Has anyone been down there? Has anyone seen it? Because don't sit right with me. And I think, you know, our auric field of the earth, if it is magnetic as well, which it is, obviously the auric field of the earth is magnetic, so it has iron in it. And when I started taking it out of my blood, so I don't have things with high amounts in there, and I don't take any supplements, my endo got really bad. And my mum said to me, you know, she's tried it as well. She stopped taking iron tablets for a while, and I said this in some of my videos. She was really ill. She was on the toilet like me. You know, she had no control over her body. She said it was the worst feeling she's ever had, and she carried on taking the iron tablets after that because it freaked her out, and she's been fine. So you know, the woman's body has the ability to heal itself, and the blood within the womb every month, without the iron in, the blood's trying to heal itself. It's trying to do something with the body, but everyone has it in their blood right now. It's everywhere, you know. So it's even in some crystals. It's iron is in everything, but it like rusts, you know. So we need to look at like how we're going to look at this frequency, and what we kind of need to be doing with it, because it's like holding us down to the earth. It's to do with all the megastructures and all these things, and then if we start to like transmute it or take it away, what will happen is we'll be able to do off-world travel. Like there was a video I found about cymatics. I've been talking about cymatics for ages, how we should be playing cymatics to food, and then that food would have them crystals in, and then we're consuming that energy, and also it would allow them to grow quicker and stuff like that. And if we unplugged our energy from all this tech, from all the governmental systems, because that's what it's doing, it's like taking energy from all of us, like having to fill out these forms or having to do this, that's all energy, that's mental stress. If we untake that and we put that mental stress and we change it up and then we put it into the food, so we change the cognition from left brain to like full brain cortex circuitry, and then we're all like visualising and putting that into food and using that as an energy source, then we're consuming that energy, then we should start to crawl out and go more down the crystalline process, which would then amp up the body. But we need to look at what minerals in that what is our frequency consumption, because at the end of the day, the food we're consuming right now doesn't even like listening to tractors. You know, animals don't like listening to tractors. I don't like listening to tractors. I don't like listening to chainsaws. I don't like listening to all these other sounds, yet we're consuming them all the time. So we need to look at the harmony of our consumption and actually change our input-output of frequency, because this is what everything is vibrating at. You know, how would we get new materials and enhance them with sound and circulate it? You know, plants like listening to that, animals like listening to frequency. Animals can't use money. Plants can't use money, so it's separation. So we need to get rid of it, is what I'm seeing. And this is where the breakdown is starting to happen throughout all this stuff that's going on right now, which is very much needed, and it is a blessing. In a way, yes, as well. It is a big blessing. And we need to start seeing it like this, because the thing I'm talking about is what is home. What is home, you know, to people, because where I go and I paint, I create worlds, so I'll just go somewhere which is my home, because the whole earth is my home, because it is a part of me, because I'm the universe. You know, I was looking at some documentaries the other day called The Tiger and the Monk. I sent it to a few of you, and it was of these people being brought with tigers to the monk space, to the temple. But think about a tiger, it's primal, it's in its instinct, it's in its home, which is Gaia, is the home. Why are you taking it out of its home habitat and putting it somewhere that's not very natural, even though the monks are, oh, looking after its orphan, how cute. They've got collars on and they're being tapped around the head with sticks and they're at a high level of listening, or, you know, that is forms of abuse, because we're looking at abuse right now, me and a few of the other shamans, and like what is okay, what isn't okay. You know, like a few weeks ago I had Kirsty Wood here and my dog Dizzy. The other two aren't so bad, but Dizzy, yes, I have to hit him around the head sometimes. And I'm not like punching him, he's not scared to carry him in the corner. He sleeps with me every night in my bed, he follows me everywhere, I walk him every day, I spend all my time with him. But sometimes, yes, I have to hit him around the head because he's had his face attacked before by fences here where all the dogs are so vicious around here. And like the guy next door has a gun, so if he goes next door, I've told you many times, he'll get shot. Now when I did that here the other day, or a couple of weeks ago, Kirsty had some food on and he went to eat it and he would have taken it, he always does it, so I slapped him around the head and shouted at him. And she went, don't you fucking hit an animal, and kicked off and left. And then we had this whole thing of like what's okay with abuse and what's not if you've been brought up being hit. But then people in unnatural places act unnatural. Like if you've been brought up in a city, you shouldn't be getting caned in school. So then you're programmed with that frequency, so then that vibrates within you. You know, the guy next door shouldn't own a gun if he didn't own a gun, or the dogs weren't attacking up there. Maybe I wouldn't have to hit Dizzy, but right now I do, because otherwise he'll die. So I don't want to be hitting him either. And then when we look at the horse world, you know, that is all forms of torture in a way, because I don't want to ride my horse anymore now and put dead leather on dead animal onto another animal and overpower that, because it should be equal. I think we should be doing Pirelli and playing with the horses and playing with the animals like you would a friend or anything else. And to take these animals and put them in unnatural places is like we're boxed. It's like if I've got a hamster in this room in a cage, what's the difference between me being a hamster in a bit of a bigger cage and then not? Do you see what I'm saying? And being fed, it's like picture within a picture within a picture of imprisonment within imprisonment within imprisonment. So we're imprisoning the animals because we're imprisoned ourselves. So we need to break out this cage to free them, because they're a level below us because we're in control of them, but we're not even in control of ourselves. So the thing that I was seeing with this, and then, you know, what is home? Because with this coronavirus right now, everyone's like, oh, I need to get back to this family, or I'm in this side of the earth, I'm in here, or I need to get home. But what is home when we are all part of Gaia and everything becomes oneness? Because when we're going to remove money and we're going to remove ownership, everything is owned by everyone. So how would you feel if I went up and said, oh, that's mine? I said, no, it's not, it's mine, because it belongs to everything and everyone. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I don't own a phone, I don't own a key, I don't own this, I don't own that, because I own everything. I am a part of the earth, and this is what you see when you get oneness. So if you're sitting there thinking, I own that, that's mine, you know, then that isn't oneness. And these are the barriers that we need to start like looking at, taking apart and decoding in ways. Because if we are all a state of water, then yes, do you see what I'm saying? Because, you know, the animals, there are like, even the queen, the horse world, the showing world, it's all functioning on ego and ownership and money and power, and all it is a couple of horses being ridden in a way, but then you've got this whole like setup around it, and you know, these people are literally stuck in this, and this isn't survival for us. It's not. We're going completely in the wrong direction with the pedal falls down, and it's not right. So we need to look at where our home is, because my home is in my heart. Wherever I go, I create these worlds. And these worlds are from my universe, which is part of all this universe as well. And yeah, I think we just need to start, you know, looking at things in a different way, because right now everyone will be like, oh, you know, the monks, they've got the tigers are predatory. They don't need collars and they don't need to be hit around the head. They're already in their habitat, in their home. So with the monks going, oh, look, they're bringing in orphaned animals, we actually know they're setting up a manifestation there of orphan and home, when actually all is home. So they're taking it from its home and then they're putting it there, which is not its home. Even though all is. Do you see what I'm saying? There's these barriers that we need to look at a little bit, of levels of abuse. And I think people that act in, people that live in unnatural places act unnaturally. And we shouldn't be living in these places. And these are the things that need to start changing. We need to look at how we can circulate sound and what is our input output and how is this going to change. How is this going to change from now? And yeah, we need to start looking more at iron and where it is. Just keep it as a mental note now, and everywhere you go, if you see something with iron, link it to something else that you know and blah blah blah. Like, keep these threads, and then we'll re-evaluate them again, because iron is really coming up at the moment for me. And I think we need to start connecting to its wavelength and not fear it and just try and transmute it or look at it. Just look at it, basically. But yeah, anyways, so I hope this uploads. And another thing I found that thing about the cymatics I want to put up, because they were linking cymatics to portal to Stargates, and I was saying about all the stuff on here. Like, I've been adding in stuff to my paints in it to like make things. So like this has got crystals in it. That's got a shell in the middle there. And yeah, it's got loads of bits in it. But this is like lead and more heavy stuff. So if I had like lighter stuff in my paints, then I would be. I'm creating layers of dimensions with different lights, because I'm working in different light sources. And then if I'm working with my tools being different as well, and then we had them more higher vibration, then I'm putting energy with dimensions, layering, my energy that I'm calling down through the pineal into it, then that's actual Stargates. I've been saying this for ages as well, but more and more is coming together now. And then I was talking about applying cymatics to food, but then this lady's talking about cymatics and Stargates, but I was talking about my art being Stargates from lead. I think so. I'll leave that below, the link. Anyway, a lot of love, and I'll speak to you soon.